Hello students, a very warm welcome to yet another exciting journey of learning English grammar. Today, I hope you all are as fit as a fiddle. Let's continue with our warming up activity to begin our lesson today. Well, the warming up activity is very simple. Today you are going to do a lot of twistings and rollings. So, time for you to stand straight, relax and roll your head from right to left 3 times and then left to right 3 times. Ready? Good. So, we will begin at the count of 1. 1. So, roll your head right 1, 2, 3. Good. Now, do that the other way round. 1, 2, 3. Good. Now it's time to roll your shoulders. First, like this, front to back and then back to front. This is the last exercise and then finish with the clapping activity. So do this 3 times again. 1, 2, 3. Just move your shoulder muscles, shoulder bone. Then 1, 2, 3. Good. Now let's end this warming up activity with the clapping exercise. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Good. Students, now it's time for the pearl of wisdom. It's a very common and well-known thought that I have got for you today. That is, honesty is the best policy. Now, what do we mean by honesty? So, students, honesty means being truthful regardless any situation. So, many a times you might be forced to say a lie and then to cover up that lie you will continue to speak another lie. So, that takes you to speak hundreds of lies at a time. So, we need to avoid such situations because unnecessary lies leads nowhere. Whatever it is, we have to be so encouraged or so motivated from within that no matter what, I am going to be honest. This statement should always be in your heart and mind, and then you will never be untruthful. So students, I hope you will apply this in your daily lives. When your parents ask you something and you do not hide it, you be honest to them and tell all that had happened and how or when that happened. Students, now let's quickly dive into our chapter prepositions. But before that, do you all know that language is made up of words? And these words actually take in many forms. Let's know some of the forms here. And these forms are actually called as parts of speech. Students, look at this poem. It says parts of speech poem. Here in this poem, you will see the whole world of English language built in. So how? Every name is called a noun as field and fountain, street and town. So, if you see, there are many naming words. In place of a noun, the pronoun stands as he and she clap their hands. The adjective describes a thing as magic wand or bridal ring. The verb means action, something done, either to read, write and to jump. How things are done, the adverbs tells us quickly, slowly, badly or well. Prepositions shows relation as in the street or at the station. Conjunctions. Joins in many ways. Sentences, words or phrase. And another phrase. The interjection cries out, "Hark!" I need an exclamation mark. See the exclamation mark. So kids, by now you might have understood how these noun, pronoun, adjective, verb, adverbs, preposition, conjunctions and interjections play an important role in English language. Today we are only focusing on prepositions. Let's continue with prepositions. Children, what is preposition? So preposition are words or group of words that shows the place, position, time or movement in relation to a noun, and that is a preposition. So in a sentence, when there is a relation shown up with the noun and its place, position, time or movement, then it is called a preposition. Yes, let's look at a few examples. Students, look at the examples. Here the baby is sleeping on the cot. So see, it is showing the relationship between the noun, the baby, and its position. Where is it sleeping? It's sleeping on the cot. Then, I am afraid of cockroaches. The thieves threw all the jewelry into a bag. We were waiting in the hall. So, all these are the examples for the prepositions. Observe carefully again. The thieves threw all the jewelry into a bag. So, the relationship between the thieves and the bag is connected through a preposition. Then we were waiting in the hall. Where? This is asking the place. So, the connection between the noun and the object is connected by the preposition, that is in. Kids, the next topic under this chapter is the object of the preposition. Now, what is object of preposition? Whichever noun or a pronoun which is following the preposition is called the object of the preposition. Look at the definition here. A preposition first is a word that is placed before a noun or a pronoun to show its relationship to some other word in the sentence. That word is the object of the preposition. They can be a gerund, a noun phrase or a clause. So, gerund means ing words, phrase as you all know, at the street, on the table. Similarly, these are called the object of the prepositions. Students, the next topic is the functions of prepositions. Let's learn how these prepositions act in a sentence. Prepositions are used to express a number of relationships including time, destination, position, origin, motion, means and purpose. So, we shall study the table and understand how the preposition express in all these categories. So, first one, indicating time. The performance starts at 7 p.m. So, look at this, at is there before the timing. So, it is indicating at 7 p.m. the performance is going to start. You should be home before the sun sets. You should be home before the sunset. So, here before is actually declaring that timing when the girl or the boy should be back home. Next, indicating destination. we should not throw stones at animals. So here it is pointing out at animals. Seeing the mother, the baby crawled to her. So this is again showing the destination where the baby is moving. Next one, indicating position. Your books are lying on the bed. See where? It is actually talking about the position, exactly where the books are. Her house is at the end of the road. See, at the end of the road. Now you might see that at is repeated even in time and even in position. So there is a little confusion that you might face, but we shall clear this confusion a little while later. Next, it indicates origin. Origin, from where it came. I cannot step out of the house on a Sunday. She got a surprise birthday gift from her aunt in Germany. So here they are talking about the gift, where it came from and where she cannot step out, or when she cannot step out of the house. The next one is indicating the motion. So the bullet went through his heart. So here it passed from the bullet and it passed through his heart. He walked across the bridge to the other side of the field. So he walked across. So this is again another preposition which is talking about the motion. Next, indicating means. The roof of the house was struck by lightning. See here, by lightning. Because of what? You can unlock the cupboard with the spare key. Here again there is an instrument incorporated here, so that's why it is called means. Indicating purpose. They are collecting money to set up a small clinic in the locality. So this word itself is easy to analyze, that they are collecting money for a purpose, that is to set up a clinic. She is preparing a fresh list of applicants for audit purpose. This is again easy example for you to understand the purpose of her making the fresh list. So kids, I hope you understood the functions of prepositions. We shall work on a few examples or solve a worksheet as a part of recapitulatory activity. So kids, after understanding what prepositions are, what object of preposition is, let's solve a few exercises as a recapitulatory activity. For that, I would want you all to take your textbook and come to page number 133. Here, we have the exercise called Learn. You need to come to this page and finish the exercise. We are going to do the first 5 and the rest of them you will have to do at home in your notebooks by yourselves. Okay, are you ready? Good. So the first one, the new English teacher is popular with the students. So here it says encircle their object and find out the preposition. So what are we supposed to do here? We need to underline the preposition and then find out the object. Now here we will pause and think of what we learned just now. We learned that the preposition is followed by a noun. So there is a preposition which has a noun after that. So that noun after preposition will be the object, okay, in most of the cases. And I would want to tell you one more important thing, that a preposition can also have 2 objects after it. If you want to see the example, just look at the top of the page. On page 133, the first sentence and the example. See, a preposition can have more than one object. The aeroplane flew over the mountains and the plains. So, the mountains and the plains, they both are object. And if you see the red color word, that is the preposition. Okay. So, for this first one, what do you think is the preposition? Yes, you are right. It's with, and the object is the students. Very nice. What about the second one? Leena was saying nasty things about somebody. So, which is the preposition? The preposition is about. And what is the object? The object there is somebody. She sells the seashells by the seashore. Now, what do you think here? The preposition is? Yes, you're right. It's by. And what is the object? The seashore. Great. When did you recover from your illness? So, for this, which is the preposition? Yes, it's from. The rest of the sentence is the object of the preposition, that is your illness. The last one we shall solve. Mrs. Bose never comes to office on time. Now here, which is the preposition? Can you tell me? It's on, and then time is the object of the sentence or the preposition. Sorry, not a sentence, the preposition. Alright children, we shall solve another activity. So students, let's solve this. It says fill in the blanks with the objects. So here there are prepositions mentioned. Now you are going to fill in the blank with the objects. Yes, for the first one, what will you fill in? Farhan climbed down the, yes, you are right. He climbed down the stairs. The cat ran towards where? You can put anything that you wish to. Yes, it ran towards the food, or you can also write the mouse, or you can also write the milk. Whatever you want, you can write. Next, I can't submit the report before dash. So here what will you write? If you see before is there, then it must be some day, right? So before day after tomorrow, or before tomorrow, anything you can write. There is no one inside the classroom. Yeah. The classroom is the answer. So, this morning I walked into means this is still in movement. So, into means what? Into where it is going? Into the room. So, here we put an end to the recapitulatory activity. Here I have one thing to describe before we move on, that you use the preposition in when there is no movement or motion. For example, the girl is sitting in the room or in the classroom. Okay. Again I repeat with another example. The girl is sitting in the room. The students are sitting in the room. Now there is another word, that is into. See this word I-N-T-O, into. This preposition is in motion. In motion means it is in movement. For example, the students are getting into the room. So here the students are coming inside the room in a line. So the students are coming into the room. Mother is pouring some milk into the cup. So the pouring of milk is in motion, is in movement. So that is pouring the milk into the cup. Similarly, we have various other confusing prepositions. Let's quickly learn them. Students, here are some confusing prepositions like at, in and on. They actually indicate both time and place. For example, at noon. So we shall meet at noon. At 2 o'clock. We shall have lunch at 2 o'clock. Something like that. Now look at the last one, at 9:30. At the door. Someone is at the door. Let's meet at the airport. At the desk. Students, the next preposition is in. So for example, I was born in September in the year 1987. So in winter. So this is an example for in, indicating the time. Next, in the carton. For example, the toy is in the carton. In a village. So the two men lived in a village. There is some juice in a glass. Next is on, which indicates time. On Friday, on the first day of the month, on the last day of the semester. This indicates the time. And now the place, on the grass, on the shelf. The book is lying on the shelf. The painting is on the wall. So this indicates place. Please remember that at, in and on are not used before today, yesterday and tomorrow, along with next and last. So kids, the next set of prepositions are in and on, and then upon and into. Here if you see, in and on, they are the preposition which are used when the object is on rest. For example, this tape dispenser is on the table. Okay, the children are in the classroom. So here the tape dispenser is in rest, the child or the student is in rest. Whereas these two are in motion. For example, upon and into. So the students are getting into the classroom. And the next example is, the mouse crawled into the hole. The tiger sprang upon the calf. So here this two, upon and into, are in motion. Now let's understand the next set of prepositions, that is since and for. Students, the next one is since and then the for. Now what does since tell us? It tells us about the moment of the time when an action began. For example, here you see, I have not seen my grandparents since July, or the Sharmas have been married since 1986. Then for tells us about the duration of an action. So we have been working for a week, or if you look into the textbook, I have not seen my grandparents for 6 months. So you have a starting point and an ending point. Okay. So for example, this is a timeline. So when you talk about a duration from one particular point to another, then you are talking about a duration, then it means for. You are going to use the preposition for. But in the other timeline, that is in the timeline when it is only one particular point, say this is somewhere in 1985. So you can say the Naidus were married since 1985. So here you use since. Okay. The next one is besides and beside. So here B-E-S-I-D-E, beside means next to. So for example, if there is another teacher standing here, then you would say the teacher is standing beside Gitanjali ma'am, right? And then besides, it says in addition to, it means in addition to. So here besides being active, the child lost the race. So in addition to. So this way you have many prepositions which could be same, but then they are a little confusing. But I hope you have got the clarity about these prepositions now. Students, look at the last prepositions here. It's out and outside. So out refers to the movement and outside refers to the position. For example, the children are standing outside the class, and then out means movement. Then the teacher would say, please get out of the class. So these are the two imperative sentences when the teacher will be angry when you have done a mistake. So please walk out of the class. So actually you are walking out of the class. So that's a movement. But then you are already standing outside the classroom. Then the other teacher will say, yes, this particular student Peter is standing outside the class. Okay. So I hope you've understood. Let's quickly have a pictorial representation of the prepositions. Students, let's begin with the concluding activity. Here are a few pictures which will help you understand the prepositions better. But before we actually look into this, we shall look into the first one, that is through, T-H-R-O-U-G-H. For example, the students are going through the notebook. So here it means you are passing by and reading the whole notebook. And sometimes it could be like this. For example, if this is a tent which is open from both the side, it is only covering from one left and right. So if a person is walking through this and coming out from here, then this also represents through. So the students are passing through the tunnel or through the tent. Here, because I have drawn a tent, I would say the students are passing through the tent. Otherwise, we also can say the train passed through the tunnel, right? So look at this. If this is a line and the object is placed above the placed line, so they say the object is above the table or above the cupboard. Then beneath means something which is down. Then inside and in, both are same in this situation. Outside and out, both are same in this situation. Again I told out can be again in movement. Now if you see, if this is the pole, the box is in front of the pole. So if this is the pole, the box, that yellow object which I have drawn, is in front. And if the same thing, if I keep it here, if this is the pole and I am keeping it behind, so then you say behind. So the box is behind the pole, but here the duster is in front of the hand, the duster is behind the hand. Next, between. See, there are two poles and there is this yellow box between the two poles. Okay. Next, on. This is, the box is on the table or the stone is on the rock. So kids, I hope you all have understood the prepositions and we have worked enough of activities and worksheets to understand. I want you all to do the rest of the exercises by yourself. So students, quickly let's take a glimpse of what we learned today. We learned prepositions, we also recalled or recapitulated the parts of speech. Then we learnt the definition. We learnt the definition of preposition. We learnt what the object of a preposition is. Then we learnt the functions of preposition, and then we learnt a few confusing prepositions. Finally had the pictorial representation as the concluding activity, and I hope overall you have enjoyed this chapter and learnt it really well. So kids, we shall meet again in the next video. Until then, you all take care and happy learning.